Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of DLC, also known as the Downloadable Cast. My name is Gerard Khalil, the Completionist.
And I'm Greg, the DLCtionist.
There you go, that's Greg. Our chat moderator for today is Breznov. Breznov, how you doing today?
He's doing good.
Breznov has taken a...
Off to a swell start, as you can see.
We're great. We're so professional here on the show. Yeah, guys, so today's topic is going to be about the free-to-play model versus the pay-to-play model. Our opinions and views on that. For those of you guys listening for the first time, DLC is a video and audio podcast in which we talk about what matters to us today in the gaming industry, as it is a currently changing topic, well, situation that we're all kind of enduring together.
I believe that's a Vadio. It's a
Vadio. It's a soft E. It's a very soft E. So, the pay-to-play model versus the free-to-play model. Greg, what is your experience with this? I know that back in the day, when we first started getting introduced to the lovely world of MMORPGs, we had the pioneer that we all know and love as World of Warcraft. And I know that you were a big, avid player of that game.
Uh-huh.
What is your experience?
I think even before that, I would consider... well, I mean, there were a bunch of games. Like, I played Nexus, the Kingdom of the Winds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
I can't say I have, no.
That was something that I played back in, I think it was in middle school or elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool game, but that was pay-to-play as well. And that was an MMO.
How much was it to pay to play that game?
Probably about $10, I think. $10 a month. Yeah, and it was just like a little kind of anime style thing, and it was a really cool game. It was worth the $10 because back when that game was around, you never had that experience before. That just didn't exist.
Oh, cool.
So,
see, I've been playing. I played a lot of MUDs, as they were called back in the day. You know.
I played a few of those.
Yeah, I played this one called Distant Lands. And me and my friend Johnny, we worked our butts off to make like the best characters possible, and it was a small community of no more than maybe 100 people, but we kind of became kings of this text-based game where you had things like, to attack an enemy it was like bash seagull and like eat bread because you were hungry, and
I remember that. Yeah. I would not be able to play that at all anymore.
Well, they were really great. I think that for me, they were the start of my own personal experience to what later would evolve into massive online RPGs.
Even some of those MUDs were pay to play because it's like you donate.
Some of them were, yeah. Because it takes money to run those servers and run the websites and the community.
It takes a lot of work to type all that text.
Well, back in the day too, you have to remember that MUDs existed while we had to deal with things like 36K modems. Like I remember, signing on to AOL to play this game.
Funny side story with that. When I played Nexus: The Kingdom of the Winds, so you had the internet subscription back then, mm-hmm. which is the AOL, mm-hmm. which logged hours and all that good stuff, and then you paid for the game. Well, what my brother and I figured out is, you remember when NetZero was free?
Yeah.
But it had ads on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to minimize it or try and do it to where the ads weren't showing, you would lose internet connection. So what we did is we minimized it into the 680 by 640 by 480
yeah.
into the box,
mm-hmm.
and have it just barely showing at the bottom of the screen where you never clicked.
Mm-hmm.
So we got free internet, so our mom couldn't figure out how many hours of the Kingdom of the Winds we were playing.
That's
Dedication.
Awesome. Dedication. That's
I'll
awesome.
Probably quieter.
That's really cool. So from there, my experience of MMORPGs kind of evolved into playing City of Heroes. That was a big one for me. I was so into City of Heroes when it came out.
Played a bit of that too.
A lot of my friends in high school played that incessantly, and I wanted to play it. I wanted to get a really high level character, and the visuals were great. I know that for most people, they had EverQuest, like that was the next level thing, and EverQuest is kind of what started, at least from my perspective, the evolution of MMOs and that whole thing. Um, but the biggest turnoff to me was paying 15 to 20 bucks a month. Some even charged anywhere from 25 to 30 bucks a month.
Yeah,
And
that's where Diablo 2 was fantastic because it
yeah,
was free to play.
yeah, you had it just the idea of playing with a friend without having to pay for anything else but the game was great. It almost felt like you had to pay to be a part of this elusive club to play a game that you already paid 60 bucks for. That's why I had a big turnoff for things like World of Warcraft, because it was like you'd spend, you know, how much money on the expansion packs and the so on so's for the free pet, or now it's like, what is it, if you come back to World of Warcraft for the Mists of Pandora or Pandas or whatever, Jack Black or whatever, you get to the ability to have two characters rush to 80 or something like that. Um, just there's these weird incentives nowadays about people coming back to MMORPGs on this, pay to play model, because in the midst of all this change of gaming and everything, free to play has kind of become a big deal now. Um,
Yeah, I think you expect better service if you pay to play. It shouldn't be crashing all the time.
right. And why would you want to use something that's, why would you want to play something that's broken or doesn't work necessarily the way you want it to if you are paying money? There was that moment where everyone got Diablo 3 that first day, and all of us were really pissed off that we had to go online right away. We couldn't play offline mode, and Error 37, brought down all the Diablo servers. None of us could connect, and we couldn't play Diablo for a good 2 weeks. Um,
That's why I got it like a month after it came out.
yeah. Um, But anyways, free to play has become so important in a successful online universe with games. I think, uh, I've been playing a lot of League of Legends. That's a game that I play regularly. Um, it's free to play, but a lot of why these free to play games are working really well right now is because of microtransactions. Uh, you may not necessarily have all the characters from the beginning, but you could either, you know, invest time playing the game, building up your experience and your in-game currency, and purchase those extra characters, or spend $5, spend $10, $20, $30 on having those characters. Um,
Which I
and
don't think is worth it but then that's getting into the whole digital versus physical stuff.
exactly, because I think we talked about that a couple of DLCs ago about how
Yes, we
you'd rather
did.
have something physically tangible in your hands than to pay for something digital because it's tied to an account, and if you lose it, it's anyways. Um, but the big question is, who will win in the rising course of everything changing, pay to play or free to play? League of Legends has now become officially one of the biggest, if not the biggest, free to play game. The MOBA model is really working nicely, and a lot of regular content and patches weekly, and coming out with new character skins and discounts for each week. It's kind of like Steam, and is that kind of where we're going, or is it going to go, with
I think it'll probably go back and forth because that's kind of the way it has gone so far.
Well, right, I was about to bring up the Old Republic. Everyone was so excited to play the Old Republic when it was announced so long ago. BioWare finally releases it, and here we are playing it, and everyone loves
Wait. Nobody's playing it.
it. Well, for the first 2 months, it was doing really well because it didn't need that many people playing it. It did not need that many people playing the game in order for BioWare and Star Wars to make revenue on it. You didn't have to worry about that because people were paying for the game. It was $60, $50, whatever it is. But now they're getting worried because people kind of stopped. I know my big problem with these games is that I would forget that I'd be paying for them, and I'd get monthly charges each month.
I think one of the main reasons why, at least why I quit it, is uh, it's the whole economy thing, you know. When people aren't making as much money, they don't want to spend as much money. So you just cut the things that you really don't need. So the first thing that I cut was television. I knew that I didn't need that. And then right after that, I was playing a lot of WoW, and I knew that I could be doing better things with my time. So I cut that because when I would say I was playing a lot of WoW, I was playing a lot of WoW. Like days. And and when you're in a long-term relationship, tends to kill the relationship itself.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to balance things. But I mean, it's just it's cutting out, you know, a $15 a month thing that you don't have to live. Like, I need to pay rent, I need to pay my electricity bill. For this job, I need to have the internet, and for networking and cell phone, and then gas for the car insurance, health insurance. It's just so low on the list of things that you need. So if people can still game for free, then people are going to do it. People are a lot more hard pressed to put out that money, because that's $15 a month times 12 is a lot of money, because I'm not proficient at math. So it's a number. It's definitely a number. Definitely a number.
Well, you know, I had this article right here. It's in the link below in the description, and I posted in the chat earlier, but I was reading it, just kind of going through it. It's a great article about pay-to-play versus free-to-play. And one of the big things that I was reading was discussing about cash shops and microtransactions, and how they shouldn't give the player an edge in combat or general performance. And I didn't know this was a legitimate thing, but apparently there are games out there that people can grind and work their butts off and get this awesome equipment, or they can pay 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks to be just as good, if not better, than the average Joe who'd spend that time. And that's something to me that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get you don't want to put in the time, but you're already, you know, putting money into World of Warcraft or into anything else. That's why League of Legends to me makes sense, because I'm paying for an outfit that is extra content. It's kind of like DLC in a way. I understand why I'm paying for it, because it's extra. It's not mandatory to my gaming experience. It only enhances it in the way I want it to. You know, an extra costume, or maybe a boost in experience gaining, or anything like that. Purchasing runes, whatever you do in these games. But the idea of being able to pay your way to win doesn't necessarily make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. It's like what WoW bans essentially is, you know, buying gold. Because if you have the gold, it ruins the economy in the game, and it gives a huge advantage. And they originally didn't agree to that in 2006, but now we have the real money auction house. So
Well, that's Diablo 3 right there. The auction house opened up a few weeks ago, and I know
so
a
they,
couple of people who've made some small transactions, but um, funny side story. My Diablo 3 account got hacked, and not the Diablo 3 account, actually. My entire Blizzard account got hacked, and when I came on to Diablo 3, I found that after I got it back, of course, I found that all of my bad stuff was gone and is replaced with great stuff. So now, because this person hacked my game, I am better off than I was a couple of weeks ago.
huh.
Fun side story. But anyways, the point is that is the Diablo 3 auction house a sustaining economy yet? Because I with patches and stuff, they're going to be incorporating new pieces of equipment and, you know, nerfing bosses, you know, increasing gold drops, whatever it is. Is it you know, one day you could have an item that's worth $100, $200, $300, whatever the price is, and by the next day it's worth $1. Is that fair to us as the economy as a whole? I think that in general it sounds stupid to me. I don't know anyone in their right mind who would pay $200 for a piece of armor in a game. It does. I
There.
don't get it. I don't get it. If anyone
It's
out
a
there,
specialized market.
I guess so. If anyone out there in the live stream chat or at home on YouTube, listening to this, hearing this, seeing this, give me a pretty good explanation as to why you would spend that money. And I'm not talking about the dollar transaction. I'm talking about 10, 15, $100. Why you would spend that? I want to know because again, the next thing you know, these developers nerf it, they take it away, they get rid of it. You don't know what's going to happen. Will you get your money back? Probably not.
You
So,
know, I think what makes sense with the way that is today is, you know, before you're paying $15 a month and you're paying it every month and you know that it's coming up. But with this certain system, you can possibly save your money for something that you would want in the game. But this is all if you would want it in the game in the first place.
yeah.
So if we agree on that somebody would want that, then now people have an option of you know not paying for a while, waiting for something to come up that they want. But even that, you know, I don't agree with that because it's just like you know, WoW Gold Farmers, or like the Stone Ring of Jordan, the Hex Charms, all that stuff. That's a way to ruin a game.
Those damn SOJs.
Yep.
Quick side story. I know everyone. We're gonna have a couple side stories in this one. Uh, in high school, I was dating this girl for 4 years, and at the very end of our relationship, I got into a lot of trouble because they reset the ladder on Diablo 2. Because they just announced the new patch about how you can now hunt down Uber Bale, Uber Diablo, and Uber Mephisto at the same time. And if you killed all three of them, you got the charm, which gave you a bunch of great stats and skills and so on and so forth. So when the ladder reset, me and my group of friends just grinded and we did all of this stuff. We worked so hard to get, you know, a legitimate, you know, I had a Smite-a-din, you know, and I was like ready to go. I was farming these guys all the time. And I just so happened to be in a server on Diablo 2. For those of you who don't know, the Stone Ring of Jordan was duped many a time in the Diablo system, and Blizzard wanted to get rid of it. So what they did was they encouraged people to sell their Stone Rings of Jordan back to the shopkeep so they would get rid of them. And every now and then, if a server reached a certain amount of Stone Ring of Jordans, you would spawn Uber Diablo, and you'd have to kill him. And if you killed him, you got, I think it was a ring or a charm or something that like, it was a charm. It was like a one, like, square piece charm that like did a bunch of great stats. And it was incredibly rare to get, incredibly rare to come across, and there was actually like IRC channels created just for this specific Diablo hunting. People would post IP addresses, and eventually what we would do is that we would log into a Diablo game, check the IP address, then leave, and keep trying until we found a hot IP address. Anyways, so one day I had to go out with my girlfriend and her family to an event, and I was supposed to go to that event. I was supposed to. I was ready to go. I was in my suit, and I was just out the door. But I thought, hey, I'll check the IRC forums and the chats, and I'll see if there's any Diablo hits. Maybe I'll get lucky. I get into one, and right when I showed up, Diablo appeared. Like, it said that Diablo had spawned in the game I joined. And it turned into a 3.5 battle of me versus Uber Diablo. I missed the event. My girlfriend was pissed. And the moral of the story, it was worth it. In the end, it was worth it. Luckily, she doesn't watch my show anymore, or watch me, or know about me. So if she ever found out, she'd be pretty pissed. But man, was it worth? There was something so gratifying about like sitting there for 3.5 hours and just fighting Diablo on my own, dying, and getting my Yes, I'm a nerd. I know. Alrighty. How long are we talking for, Greg? How long has this been going on for?
I don't know, but I've heard you tell that story a bunch of times, but I don't think I've ever heard you say that it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was so worth it.
Right.
I'm sure everyone would get... I can only imagine her face right now if she heard this story, what she would say.
She'd probably be very happy with you.
If I was in a time machine and she heard that story, I think she'd be upset. But if it was right now, I think she would just probably get a good kick out of it because she'd understand. I had nothing good to say to her. She was like, "You didn't make it. Why didn't you make it?" I just was like, "So there was a game that I was really into that I couldn't leave." Um, but anyways, back on topic. Sorry about that side story.
Uh,
But so moving on back to the real story at hand. Who is winning right now? Who is in charge of this battle of the free to play versus the pay to play? I know that now, you know, since I've been into the MMORPG, since I have not wanted to be around that whole thing. City of Heroes is now free. Champions Online is now free. Free to play. Random appearance by a brother, free to play. You know, all these games that I used to love a lot and pay money actively for, they're all free to play. World of Warcraft is, I think, it's up to level 40 now, right? I think it's free up to level 20 or 40.
I don't know.
Star Wars, I think, the Old Republic is about to offer a free-to-play model. I'm not so sure. Don't quote me on that. I think they're getting close to it. But I think that in the end, right? I think I've always wanted it from the beginning. I've always wanted games to be free to play. But now there are so many developers out there and so many MMOs out there that are free to play, and I think that they offer a lot more to the table than what some of the big MMOs offer that you have to pay. Like I don't understand the whole push for World of Warcraft. So yeah. Any last thoughts, Greg, before we take some phone calls?
At one time, you know, I had a lot of fun playing World of Warcraft. But it just got too busy, and you know, I had to cut costs, and that was one of those entertainment things that I couldn't justify paying for it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But even now that it's free to play to level 20, I don't think I would pick it up again, simply because I would fear that it would be, you know, you might get a watered down experience or something. It might be different. Also, it's a very old game, considering, you know, it's 6 years old. That's insane.
Now, I'm not familiar with it, but did they, when they released the newer patches, the new expansions, did they ever go back and redo graphic models, or is it still just incredibly dated?
Yes. No, they updated the graphics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With each expansion, it gets better, and then patches and stuff. So, it's not what it was in 2006.
Mm-hmm. Now, Greg, you're the only person I know who played World of Warcraft for the story. Everyone I talk to is all about raiding and guild and horde a lot.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've said it at this point, but Blizzard. There's one difference, but all of Blizzard's storylines I have absolutely loved. Diablo 3, some of the stuff in there I was not too keen on.
Yeah.
But
no spoilers for those who haven't played it, obviously.
Right, yeah. But all the original Warcraft series, they were just fantastic. And I loved going through WoW and reading all that stuff. So that's why it was a really immersive experience, so that's why I would pay for it. And I think I just, you know, after 5 years I got bored of it. Bored of doing a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. That's, you know, I think, you know what would be great, Greg? I think we should do this. This would be really cool. I think depending on, let's do a little social experiment, Greg. Let's have all of our fans who are listening to this, watching this, and the live stream stuff. Let's all vote on one MMO free-to-play game that all of us can play together and just build characters, whether it's City of Heroes, DCU Online, you know, Champions Online, or World of Warcraft, or whatever. Just whatever around, and just let's really examine for what it is. Like, the whole experience. Dragon's Nest is also a good one, and we did Dragon's Nest a while back. Um,
Star Trek.
yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's try it out. Maybe we'll make it a thing where we can play with some fans, play some games, have a dance party. That was always my favorite thing in all of these stupid games, was just having an epic dance party with the boombox and just rocking out in the middle of the town square for like 4 or 5 hours. Best experience ever. $15 a month, well wasted right there. So before our commercial break, we were discussing the epic battle between free-to-play and pay-to-play. And before we went ahead and start each show, we have little questions that the audience answers, and then our chat moderators get to pick our callers. So we've got 3 callers to call in and talk to us today about their opinions and views on free-to-play versus pay-to-play, and their own personal experiences as well. So our first person up is Vipes. Vipes, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. What time is it for you? Is it pretty late or is it early?
Same as you, 11:25.
Oh, cool. So it's not too bad.
I work at 3 p.m. tomorrow. It's fine.
There you go. So Vipes, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Yeah. Give us your take, your personal views on free-to-play or pay-to-play. What do you think?
Well, I've never been against paying for a game, but I strongly believe that once you pay for a game, it should be yours forever. No, unless you want some additional, like you said before, actual additional content, you shouldn't pay any more than you need that you originally have.
Well, one would argue that they're providing a monthly service to you, kind of like Xbox Live, but do you feel like that online service is worth it? I mean, what do you really get out of, the only benefit you get out of playing World of Warcraft each month is the ability to be able to play it. That's their argument. That's their idea of saying it is we want you to pay so you can play this game, as opposed to, no, I bought this is mine, I want to play it.
That is true, but it's like the old argument of PSN and Xbox Live, how you need to pay for Live but not PSN.
Mm-hmm.
It's Live is a lot better, as well it should be. You're paying for it, but I don't know, monthly fees to play online some games are just meant to pay online.
Mm-hmm.
And it even charges you if you want to pay for Netflix, you still have to have a Live account.
That's right. You need an Xbox Gold account to watch Netflix, which is something you already are paying money for.
Mm-hmm.
That's no bueno. Well, you said in the beginning that if you pay money, you should have that game, and that reminds me of there was an online car game. It was like one of the first ones called Motor City. That I will always say it was such a cool, amazing game. And it was like $10 a month or something. And all of a sudden they were like, all right, well, we're shutting the servers down in a month, so see you later. So it's like I bought this game, and I had fun with it for like a year or so, but then they just shut down the servers, and it's like, well, didn't I just buy this game for $60? Now it's completely unusable. The servers are down, nobody has any of them, and the game is just dead for good.
That's really how. Oh, what?
Oh no, that was just stupid. That infuriated me. That made me go like, EA.
That's really how I feel. I've kept almost every game from my past.
What? How about it? All right, sorry. Go ahead.
I really thought something was going wrong.
Yeah.
I've kept every almost game from my past, and they're all mine. I can play them anytime I want to, and I often do. And I just think that's a whole lot better than just paying to play. I mean, you get what I'm saying. Even with downloadable games, they won't always be there. It's not a physical copy.
Right. Yep.
Well, luckily for us, Steam is a very well-developed system, in my opinion. If you ever get a new computer or a new account or whatever, you can you know, take care of all your needs as they come off.
But that's just Steam.
Well, that's just Steam. And
I want to play Motor City, and it doesn't exist. I'm pissed about that still. Just bring that up.
Greg, there you go. That is your Kickstarter campaign for the show.
It was awesome.
Our
Did
goal,
anybody like Motor City, or am I like the only one? Probably.
Greg, our goal for your life now is to get the servers for Motor City back online.
Oh my God! I know my calling in life.
Destiny.
Anyways, any final thoughts on the whole pay-to-play, free-to-play?
To who is going to come out on top, I think it's definitely going to be free-to-play. Because some companies can make one free-to-play game and have people fall in love with it, and then make a game that you have to pay for, a physical copy, not an online game, and they'll be well known for their free online game. And I just think it's a better route to go for not only consumers but companies.
I agree. If there's a way for them to do it in a way that is easy to produce and keep people happy, then we're good to go. I know that League of Legends, I keep saying it because I keep playing it, always has problems, slow, laggy servers and that kind of stuff, but people are paying, premium quality money for it. So it's kind of it's kind of weird. I'm in the middle. I think that it can go either way. You do get kind of a quality assurance, in a way, service when you play games like World of Warcraft. Although I hear that when you buy the new World of Warcrafts, the day of launch, stuff falls apart. So, yeah. Well, thank you for your input, Vipes. And anything else you want to add before we go?
Oh, no, that's about it. It was great being here talking with you and Greg.
Thank you for calling in, man. Thanks for being here.
Yep.
I always support the show.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too.
All right. Our next caller on our list of whatever. Colliaisons is Super Sanity 11. Super Sanity, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty well. So, obviously you want to know, what do you think about free-to-play versus pay-to-play?
I think free-to-play is the way to go. Just, like, I played TF2 as an example, which is, you can buy stuff, perks, like, they don't affect anything except, like, your appearance, which is nice. So
yeah, that's good that you can't buy stuff to push the game ahead. You can't get an advantage. You just have a pretty hat.
yeah. But like, I understand where pay to play is coming from. Like, that's been around forever. Like, of course, World of Warcraft, stuff like that. But I mean, like, I usually join the games when they're free to play just because I don't have the money to play it when they're pay to play.
Well, I think ideally, if to me, and I'm sure everyone out there, it just seems an easy alternative. But it's like, all right, here are two different games, right? There's a game that costs money to play, and there's the free game. 9 out of 10 times, most gamers are going to go, I'm going to go with the free game, because it's like you don't have to pay anything out of your own wallet to play this game.
Cool. If somebody was like, now, would you like this piece of cake for $5? Or would you like this piece of cake for free?
Exactly.
Which piece of cake do you want?
Exactly. Either way, cake
you can have the first 3 bites of the $5 cake for free.
But if you try to have any more, you have to pay for it.
You can't finish the whole thing. Then you got to pay $5. Which cake do you want?
Yeah.
Can I eat the cake, majority of the cake, and leave like some crumbs?
Nope.
Darn.
Nope, you can't.
So, new topic for DLC.
Cake.
Opinions on cake.
Cake is really yummy. I love cake.
Here at That One Video Gamer, we bring you the most controversial, brain-provoking content.
Such as how to make cakes. No, we don't teach that at all. Speaking of cakes, that's right. I did nerdy nummies. That's right. If you search nerdy nummies, you can see me on Rose's show. We did a banana bread / banana cake, Donkey Kong cake. So yeah, check that out.
Any more thoughts on that?
Not really, no. I just want to thank you guys for letting me be on the show. This kind of made, like, my week.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for...
Everybody's so thankful. They're so happy.
My brothers aren't going to believe this, so thanks for letting me be on.
Are your brothers a fan of the show?
Yeah.
Oh, well, tell your brothers that we say hello and thank you for being
Hello,
fans.
brothers. You better believe this.
Yeah, brothers.
That makes it credible now.
Brothers of Super Sanity 11, username guy.
All right. Thanks.
Take it easy, man.
You too.
All right. And our last caller on our list of call liaisons is... I knew you were going to laugh at that, Greg. I knew it. That's why I said it.
You're welcome.
It was great.
Oh, the air came back on.
No, you're good. You're good. Our last caller on the list is Alpha. I want to say it's the Brutal, but that's wrong. Alpha the Rebel. That's your name, Alpha the Rebel.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, man?
Howdy, hey.
I am good. Best night ever tonight.
Why's that?
Well, I've been following the show since the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And you and everybody at Normal Boots has inspired me to throw my hat in the ring with the whole video game review thing.
Oh, cool, man.
Sweet.
Well, send me an email with your stuff. I'll take a look at it. I'm always willing to look at people's stuff to see what they got to bring to the table. So
yeah. So my opinion on this subject is I think there's two models that we'll be able to follow. The first one is the free-to-play model, and the second one is what Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1 did, where you pay for the game and then the rest of the game is free. You pay once, and the entire game you can play through. So
I'm a fan of that, just because you feel like you're getting your money's worth, and if you
yeah, exactly.
If you ever want to revisit it, all you gotta do is reinstall the game, so you're good to go.
And what most people don't remember that TF2 you actually had to pay for. It was $20 when it first came out. And then it went free to play because they already made enough money through the microtransactions to keep running the servers.
Exactly.
So that could be another model too.
Right. Well, I think too also is word of mouth. You know, if people come to play your game, you know, advertisements and in-game exclusivity to things. I know that like referrals is a big thing with some games. If you refer X amount of users, they'll like make a character after you, or they'll. In the end, these companies, when you play their games, they do make money because you're using their servers. There's advertisements. There's whatever it is. So in the end, essentially these free-to-play games, they may be free for us to play, but in the end, the companies who made these games are making pretty good money doing it. Mm-hmm. So what do you? So you're a bigger fan of the Guild Wars model, or would you say the free-to-play just flat out?
It depends on how the game is set up. If it's more of an indie game, which is like, funded by Kickstarter things, I think the free-to-play model works better. But if it's from a major company, like, say, Blizzard makes, like, Diablo 2, you paid once and then the entire game was yours. Mm-hmm. So I think it depends on how much money goes into the actual game for the model.
Well, and it's interesting. I mean, can you imagine if they made StarCraft 2? And they just were like...
They did! They just made StarCraft 2. It was great.
No,
you missed that. Go on.
No, I don't know if I want to.
No.
Okay. Well, that's it for our show. Thank you very much for coming. DLC. Catch us every Sunday.
The point I was going to make was that imagine if StarCraft 2... you bought it, and then right when you get on, Blizzard's like, hey, you have to pay a Battle.net fee of $5 a month to unlock your StarCraft 2 game. Like, man, everyone would be so angry. I probably wouldn't have picked up Diablo 2 at that, or StarCraft 2 at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, those games are competitive. They're massive. People are still playing them. I know that Diablo 2 is still big, as irrelevant as it may sound, with Diablo 3 around. But yeah, I think that the Guild Wars. It's funny. I haven't played Guild Wars, but I really want to pick up Guild Wars 2. Because I really don't I really don't believe in paying online stuff.
I understand. But the biggest problem though is for free to play is
Hold
avoiding
on
power.
1 second, Greg. Turn on your mic. Your
Oh.
audio. It's bouncing back.
What?
Your speaker is bouncing the audio back into the feed.
Alright, I just won't be able to hear anything you say.
No, it's fine. You can keep it up. It's just it was echoing.
Yes. I will guess by what you're mouthing, chat.
Anyways, but like I was saying, the biggest problem free-to-play games have to avoid is power creeping, like you were said. You
You're not
can't
no,
have
see.
people buy power because it ruins the game.
Well, they call it pay to win, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
They call it pay to win.
This is a concept that's been developed from trading card games like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh!, where you have to force yourself to pay to be the best. But like League of Legends showed is that if you give everybody access to everything 2 different ways, it's a much better model. You could either earn Riot points by buying the characters, or you could just play the game and then buy the characters by earning them yourself. And they've really shaped how free-to-play should work from now on.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting to see because the big thing is that with these companies doing pay-to-play versus free-to-play, pay-to-play makes the company money so that these people can keep creating content based on their subscription services. If no one's playing the game to, pay them to play it, then they have no revenue for the company to succeed in paying their employees and growing the brand and creating more expansions. So it's going to be interesting what we see. I mean, again, League of Legends has kind of revolutionized it in a way. Dota 2 is coming out soon, and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that there'll be a fine median that all of us can kind of just be free to play, but still create, enough revenue for people to keep growing.
And world peace.
And world peace. And
Any final thoughts? Or did we do that already? Oh, okay, no, we didn't.
No, thanks for having me on the show. I love what you do, guys, and I can't wait for the next episode, Gerard.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in and being a part of it.
So I'll let you guys go because I know you're busy, and it's 11:40 here, so I'll let you go to sleep.
Oh, the sleep is not going to happen.
Oh, right, because you got to edit the video and then throw it onto YouTube.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. All right, man. Take
Thanks
it easy.
for calling in.
You too.
All right, Greg. So before we go, do you have any final thoughts on free to play versus pay to play?
I would like to play another online game again. I just want it to be something that's worth it for me. Because it's been a while. I played a good amount of Diablo 3 when it came out, and I haven't played it for like a month. So I want something to stick like WoW did, because that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think that this episode DLC turned out great because we'll be able to really form a community based on the show and our fans. So, like I said, guys, in the comments below, in the chat, thumbs it up, like it, all that stuff about what kind of MMO game we all want to play together. We'll make factions or guilds or whatever, and it'll be a fun time. We'll all, my whole thing is that if we can just cut, no need to do power leveling, just actually sit down and play through the game, do the quests together, all that stuff, and sharing the equipment, all that stuff. That's kind of the whole fun of it. So if we're all a part of it, it'd be really great. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright guys, that's been another episode of DLC, the Downloadable Cast. Again, special thank you to our sponsors, K-Zombie Radio, for allowing all of our fans at home to be listening to this on iTunes and Stitcher and all those other neat things. Please keep the conversation going, talk to us in the chat, in the comments below. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. You can follow Greg at McSquaresville, and you can follow me on Twitter at JKCompletesIt, and the Completionist Facebook page is Facebook.com/The Completionist. And yeah, that's the best way to talk to us. Obviously, there's Tumblr, which you can do that as well if you're into.
I'm not on Turnblow.
Tumblr.
Turnblow.
Tumblr.
Thanks for joining us on DLC. Be sure to join us next week at a time and a location,
which will probably appear somewhere around here. That's another thing. People are complaining that they are missing out on the cast. The best way to find out when it is to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, because we post those things in real time.
We'll let you know.
Times change very frequently. We're both busy people, so we want it to be accessible to everyone. So I think that's it for today. Greg, any final thoughts?
Bears.
Alrighty, and now it's time for something completely different.